Hello there! Hey there! Hi! Welcome, one and all, to the stream. Background music go. I need to turn this down. Yeah, hello! Welcome! We might be continuing with some stuff that we were doing yesterday, but also we're just having another stream where we're messing around with random things, because we can. The main overarching thing that I'm working on is making the next YouTube video that I'm making. A lot of what I'm doing with it at the moment isn't very streamable, but I still want to be streaming anyway, so I'm just finding random things I've never done in Unity before that I'm doing streaming stuff with just because. Also gonna... Why is... Not important at all, but why this is all light and like this is darker. I know this has a bit of a shadow. I think that's because the reflection probe is maybe barely not covering. Yeah, sure. Okay. Not that this matters. Can I not just have this like extend infinitely? I don't know how much that affects things. If it's a very like small nothing environment, I don't know if the performance of it really matters that much. Anyways, that's not important at all. Just tiny thing off to the side that yeah. So because I can, I'll say that thing that we were doing yesterday. So this is first of all, this is just a Unity project I have set up with just random of some of these streams that I've done where it's like, oh, here's a thing I've never done in Unity, let's just try and do it, because I've sort of compiled some of them, well, only 3 things really, in one Unity project, and this will slowly expand over time of just being this playground, just a whole bunch of random, an ensemble of things. We have like the physicsy conveyor belts that I made a little bit ago, with just some cubes falling down just because physics. Actually, also these cubes are purposely set up like they only move, other than just however they initially spawn, they are purposely, I cheat a little bit, have them stick just moving along the conveyor belt so they aren't falling off to the sides. That's just because I can. We have the lasers, which it would be cooler, maybe I'll modify this at some point, like they move live, so yeah, maybe at some point, yeah, I'll make a better thing with that. Some of these, so we're making a lot of these random things. Oh, you will fall off. Okay, I was like, are you not going to fall off? I could, in theory, have some kind of kill plane thing, but whatever. That can do as it's doing. That's fine and not an issue. So this is partially just making random stuff for the sake of maybe interesting stream content, and also just doing things I haven't, expanding my sort of skill set with Unity, and just making cool, just visually cool-looking things. But all of these are things that could potentially eventually be used in future things I make. Main thing potentially being the handyman with a unicycle. I do worry with some like very physicsy based thing. Like this works for having just these, cubes and stuff going along them. But if I wanted to have some kind of actual like player character try to go along these kind of conveyor belts, I worry if it wouldn't work so well. It'd be super glitchy and janky and whatever. But who knows? Things like these lasers, they don't have any actual collision, but it'd be interesting if they did, and then having actual like spinning laser hazards, that could be cool. Or even just laser go into some receptacle to like power something to open the door. That's also in theory a thing that could happen. Yeah, these lasers are set up that they have like a sort of max length before they sort of fizzle out. That's just the way that we set them up, just because. Yeah, anyways, but that's not what we're doing today. This is a thing that we were doing yesterday. We never fully got working, and I was considering whether today's stream would be focusing on this or not, but like I don't know how quick this is gonna go. I realized, so initially what this was, I just had a random idea of like, I want to do some procedural movement stuff, and this was meant to be like, through physics, having a little robot thing that's just this, like a body and then like a two-point, like, bendy thing that would, like, drag itself across the ground. And as you can see, it's, like, not quite working how we want it to, but it is technically moving, I suppose. And I did some Googling between last stream and this stream, and like, oh, surely this is, like, something that can be done, and, like, 'cause I know that I've seen, random YouTube videos and stuff like that of people making procedurally based stuff in Unity, and it turns out this very specific case of a thing I was trying to do isn't something I was able to find a lot of good, like, resources on. It is a very, like, problem area as far as, like, procedural movement stuff goes. one thing I didn't realize, when I've seen a lot of cases of people doing, like, procedural animation or whatever, such as, like, a lot of this stuff that I've seen, I assume that a lot of these were being done like pure through physics, and some of these are, like over here, the character in Go Home. That's a Unity game. I've never actually played it, but I'm aware of its existence. I believe there's a second one as well, like it has a sequel. But a lot of these, like this spider here, this, well, actually, I can't speak on everything following the thing that I'm just about to say. Some things might or might not, but some examples of things that procedurally move around that I assume were all happening through physics and rigid body stuff. But no, a lot of these are done just through pure transform manipulation, which is a way of doing things that's surely allowed and fine and whatnot. The problem is then if you don't have as much physicsy stuff going on, then you potentially have problems with, if I wanted to, like in this case, build something to be very physics-y, be able to physically interact with other things, like if there was a bunch of, boxes around that could actually hit out of the way and that kind of thing. Or, dealing with just bumpy terrain and whatnot in terms of colliding with the ground. But, yeah. Some stuff like, I haven't looked into how this was made, but I'm aware of, like, this as an example, this, like, procedural, spider thing. This is more, I wouldn't say cheaty, but it's like, it moves the body, actually, I haven't seen the actual inner working of the code of this particular example, but moves the body and then, does stuff to have the legs, like, do a sort of stepping motion, but that's all through, transform manipulation and, like, ray casts and stuff to perfectly, find the ground rather than actually being through, physics or whatever. Which is fine, like, that's not, like, a problem. It's just, there's different pros and cons that you get out of those kind of things. I wanted to potentially, do this through physicsy stuff, but yeah. And then there's also then the realm of ragdolls. When I think in video games, when I think of something having a ragdoll, I think of like a humanoid character that, like, if you die in a game and you just like flop around or whatever, which is a commonly used case of where that kind of thing is used. But it's not the only case, and the concept of a ragdoll thing can be used in other cases, and it could potentially apparently be used in this kind of thing to have like these joints that are physically connected. These joints that are physically connected and like a bunch of rigid bodies and stuff. Yeah. So anyways, that's just stuff. But like, I did some Googling, did some stuff, but I didn't immediately find all the answers I was looking for how to get this kind of system to work. It definitely needs some like modifications. Like one thing I was thinking of is that, so right now the actual part that's meant to be dragging is on a little, like, just this little point here. If I actually made it like go back further and be more flat, I might get better results. But then to combine that, to make it look like this thing's actually sticking into the ground, could potentially have this be the model, but the collision is a model that kind of goes from here and then cuts down and then back. So this looks like it goes into the ground, but it actually stops here. Because I was thinking of another something similar to this that might be on my list of random things to make, is the idea of if you have like a pickaxe or an axe and it like sticking into the wall, like a pickaxe, like you're climbing up a wall or something, how you would, with physics, deal with the fact that you're trying to have something go into something else, and how that would work. And I think that, like, probably the way I would do it would be to just fake it, is that if you had a pickaxe up to, like, the pointy bit, you go back a little bit, and then that's where the actual collision of it ends, so that it, like, this is the part that actually goes into the surface and then, like, sticks. Potentially, possibly. I don't know, for sure that would be what I'd want to do. But, like, imagine, like, on a... Like, that would matter more for, like, how you would want to actually use the thing, how much you'd be faking it, or whatever. Yeah, in my case, I'm not making a lot of these for any particular purpose, just attempting to make cool stuff just because, with the idea that these things could potentially be used for other things eventually. So one thing I wanted to do with this at some point, and I don't think we're gonna do it right now, I want to start with, as the stream title is, just another thing on my list of things I want to potentially make is catapults. I just want to try making a catapult just because I can. And then if we finish that, which in theory I think I'll have better luck with that than I did with this. But then I might return to this after. I want to just, out of curiosity, to kind of see what it looks like. Because the movement with this is, like, it's only two things that are turning. I want to rewire how this moves to be through user input. So I can press, like, W and S or whatever or well, whatever. The buttons don't matter. Press 2 buttons, like an up and down to move like the yellow part, and some other up and down to move the red part. And I'm just curious, like how that would be, because the reason that this isn't like dragging itself properly comes down to both the way that the physics are set up and the sort of AI that's controlling like the motion of it pulling. So I'm curious to if I rewire it to be human user input, so then I can have the dragging itself be perfectly how I want it to be. Then I could focus on just the physics part of it, get the physics to be, if with like sort of user input, I can get the dragging to look how I want it to, then I know that the physics part of it is good, and then I can just go back to the actual, then I can look at the thing that's deciding how to turn the individual pieces. I'm sort of separating one problem into 2 problems that I can look at individually, in theory. It would also be nice, though, it would be nice to, as I said, I want this to kind of like stick into the ground and then pull. It would be cool if I could do more with this spiky bit when it hits the ground, doing something where it actually gets anchored to the ground. Like maybe it could spawn, if I gave the ground itself like a static, a kinematic rigid body, and then this thing when it sticks into the ground, if it spawns a, I think there's like a fixed joint thing. Yeah, fixed joint. To then connect itself to the ground so that it's forced to stay in place and then it pulls. That could be some interesting stuff I could play around with, and I don't know how well that could go, but neat to play around with. I want to play around more with, I think it's possible that I can, especially if I do that fixed, thing. So currently right now, this doesn't like turn, like these things don't turn together because of the way I had to set them up. I have some like more ideas for how I can potentially get them to turn together. Basically, if it can work with a rigid body, or if it can work with a ragdoll, when you have a character, like a human character that has a whole ragdoll thing set up, those are allowed to have, this thing is parented under this, and they have, rigid bodies under rigid bodies, and that's allowed. I thought before that it was like a universal, like, you shouldn't have a rigid body underneath a rigid body or you'll have a weird wonky behavior. But if it works for ragdolls, then I should be able to sort of apply what's done for ragdolls here, and then in theory get it to, just so that it's more properly done in that, in this case, having the lower arm actually childed underneath the upper arm so they move as I would want them to. But that's not what we're starting with. That's not what we're starting with, because I want to start with a different thing. So we're going to put that off to the side. I mean, okay, it would be cool, so let me just do a little bit more introductory rambling before we get to what we're actually doing. So just with this random stuff I'm making, idea that I had is, one, we make a catapult, just be able to launch stuff, like launching cubes, launching spheres, whatever. Then, if I did say that I want, like, to have this thing being able to actually, like, stick into the ground and actually then, be like a fixed joint that's actually stuck into something, a way that I could sort of build that in isolation is making, like, a pickaxe. Have a wall and a pickaxe, and then when I put the pickaxe against the wall, having it sort of hit into the wall, do whatever method I end up doing, whatever ends up working with, like, fixed joints, or hinge joints or whatever, so that it looks like this pickaxe actually embeds itself in the wall. Then I could combine that with the catapult, or it could be a pickaxe or an axe or whatever. Effectively make like an axe throwing catapult that, like it, throws through the air and then sticks itself in the wall. That'd be a cool sort of evolution of combining those things. And then in theory, when that's working, then I could sort of apply what I've learned from doing some of that to this thing to make this stick into the ground. It should in theory be the same principle, hopefully, to then get this thing to be properly working. And then it would be extra cool if this thing is able to drag itself across the ground, an evolution of that then being able to crawl up a wall would be cool. Although, if this only has one place where it sticks in, I might actually then want to make 2 arms. That would be extra cool. It, like, actually, that would actually be super cool. And if I have the catapult throw that, this, like, crawling bot, like, having, a catapult throw that, it latches into a wall and then crawls up the wall. That'd be a super cool application of just building on top of these different, like, procedural things that we're making. I don't know how all that will go. Like, in theory, that sounds cool. In practice, might not work super well, might run into a lot of problems, but, you know, we'll see. Won't know until we try. So let's start with, yeah, I want to make a catapult. How do I want to separate out these? I kind of have different, like, groups of these game objects, like one for the conveyor belts, one for the lasers. This other one was like procedural movement. It doesn't really matter that much. I guess it could be under that. We have the drag bot thingy. Okay, so let's make. So if I make a catapult, I mean, imagine I'll be doing some blendering. I don't care that much about it being a completely 100% physically accurate catapult or whatever. I did a quick bit of like just brief like, what do catapults look like? Why? Especially in a game sense. Like for the purposes of what we're making, I don't think I need to go the full mile with making all of these catapult type things. I basically effectively just want the most bare bones, like basically this kind of thing. Have something that an object is in that's going to stay in, ideally not fall out immediately, and then thing turns fast and then thing gets launched. That's like I don't need to go the full mile with this with what I'm doing. Ideally it looks a little bit cooler with it than this. Ideally, we're going to use some of the textures that we have here and make it work. But I'm more concerned about the actual coding. But in theory, this shouldn't be that hard. I might eat my words later. But in theory, it's just, once I have whatever the kind of model thing looks at, however it looks, just having rotate something really fast and then thing gets launched. I'm just hoping that I'm not going to have physics issues with, oh no, the thing just like, it rotates so fast, the thing just went through the bottom or whatever. That'd be more an issue with like collision and... Yeah, hopefully it works, I guess. Now, the question is, should I preemptively care about what I'm going to be launching? A lot of these you have like a sort of basket. If I'm going to be launching like a ball-shaped thing, then it makes sense to have like a ball-shaped, hole that this is going in. If I wanted to use, say, the same, like, these blocks that I have on the, from like the conveyor belt and stuff, I could make the sort of catcher thingy with this, have it actually be box shaped or whatever. In theory, I'm making this to eventually maybe launch, as I said, like an axe or a pickaxe kind of thing. Although if I do that, I might need to make it an extra custom thing for it to like, not just throw it like wildly, have it be in a perfect turning motion, which I don't know how that's going to work. When I go to, so I want to make just a catapult just on its own, for like a normal looking catapult just to launch stuff because whatever. If I then make a thing that I need to actually launch a pickaxe or whatever, I might need to make a more extra custom pickaxe launcher thing that might not look like this. Rather than being a turning thing, it might need to be something that like shoots it out and intentionally applies spin. Or something along those lines. I don't know, but yeah, let's start with just normal, generic catapult, shall we? So, do I want to make anything in Blender? I think for starters, no. I'll treat it like this, where I'll start making stuff out of just blocks and stuff in Unity and only go to Blender where I'm like, I need a custom shape that I don't quite have. Okay. Blah, blah. The idea is that I don't think this catapult will take, depending on how long I'm rambling for, I don't think this catapult will take too long, and then the stream will become working on the other bits, but we'll see. I'm forgetting how to spell catapult. So catapult is, I just wanted to for it. I want to be under there. Actually, hold on. The object. Actually, before I'm just gonna copy one of these just so that I have like a decent texture kind of setup. Wait, don't go down there. That's not what I wanted you to do. Hold on. Okay, I need to actually find that thing I just copied. You are under here. But you copied the whole laser start thing. That's not what I wanted you to do. You, get over. Yeah. So basically all we need, we'll see if I need to build like the actual base of it or whatever. Like, I want this to be a pretty like, I want it to be a catapult that's doing catapult stuff through physics. So yeah, like we'll see how much of a base that I need to make that'll have to be set up properly so that it doesn't just break itself and like not work. Will I make wheels? Do I care about having a catapult like actually move around? We'll see. I'll like readdress that. So the first important bit is the arm itself. This is gonna be the thing that actually spins. Why are you rotated like that? Okay. And yeah, we'll worry about like textures and stuff later. In theory, so the arm itself doesn't actually need to be that thick. Let's probably have better results if we make it thin, maybe. I don't know how long it should be. I don't know where the point of rotation will be. We're gonna figure out all that stuff. Oh, will I have the same physics problems that, like, I might have had with this if all of these have different scales? We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. I guess this had a lot more complex stuff going on that, like, I cared about all the scales and stuff being good. This, I might be able to get away with it being, like, good enough. So pretending this is the arm, then we're gonna have the, like... I don't know what the parts of a catapult are called, but the, like, the area of the thing that's actually getting launched. What do I call that? The, failing to come up with a word for what's it called. The sort of catcher thing. Not really a cat. I'm gonna call it a cat. Catcher. Whatever. It's fine. So this should be, let's go 1, 1, 1. For now, it'll just be like, let's also, yeah, just make these different colors as I'm going about it, just because. So in theory, oh yeah, so the catcher will need to be underneath the arm. That's gonna be funky with the scale of stuff, but hopefully it'll be fine for now. This just, this, you know, shouldn't pivot around here, which means I might have just another game object that is the, hold on, no. Arm pivot object that is something like, I don't know if, so there's the two ways I can go about this in terms of catapult stuff. I can have it the pivot be right on the end and there's like an axle kind of going through here, or I have it slightly further here and it looks like here we have some big old weight or something. I could, like, in terms of launching the catapult, I could do it the way where it just launches by having a big old weight that gets, like, released and then gravity takes over. I'm fine with it not being that physically accurate and that we sort of cheated a bit, and it's basically just when I press some button or whatever, it does just apply torque to the catapult part itself. I'm fine with it not being completely like, oh, it's a physically accurate thing. The main physics part of it that I want to have happen is just it rotates with, you know, rigid body to add torque, and then thing that's here gets launched. So the actual catcher, I guess I will make a quick little, like some, like, walls for this. Just, yeah, I could do this in Blender and just extrude some stuff, but for now, no. Hold on. Bleh. Hit you decently tall, I guess. I want to make sure that whatever's in it isn't gonna, like, escape, but also if the walls are too tall, then it might have trouble, like, coming out on the other side. So let's say that's good enough. For this, like, first draft of this, I guess I will just kind of rough it out. Doesn't need to be perfect. Call these, like, catcher walls or something. Duplicate you, and then go around your pivot. Nope. Center. Rotate. Scales are going to be weird. Right, of course they are. Yep, that's the danger of when you parent some things under other things, and yeah, scales be wonky. Do I need... I have just realized that technically the catcher and the arm might not need to be under each other because of the pivot. If the pivot's the only thing that turns, you can have a scale of 1, and then these might actually be able to get away with being underneath just that. Then the scales aren't gonna have as many issues. Let's extend these like that just to perfectly use a box. And that's, like, yeah, good enough for now. Do I want to put a test, like, thing in the box? Let me get one of my... The prefabs I made that, like, the conveyor cubes. Where are they? Over here. Just call it crate. Yep, that works. You there. I'm going to put it underneath procedural movement, but it won't be under the actual catapult. Makes sense, makes sense. This does have stuff set up to, yeah, as soon as I go into play mode, it'll have a random material and have a random rotation and slightly random scale. That's fine, I guess. It's actually pretty perfect. I didn't mean for it to be that perfect. Actually, I don't know if it's going to be... I don't know how snug it should be in this versus how much it should have a little bit more room to breathe. But for now, it's fine. Actually, yeah, first draft is fine. I should get, like, the actual... And actually, rather than having it fall in, I'll just have it start, like, pretty much in. Okay, so this catapult, arm pivot, just do this. That's not... What the heck? Oh, you. Yeah. Make sure... As long as, like, this part don't go through the floor, it's fine. I guess this doesn't need... Like, this will have a rigid body. But you're not gonna... need, like, gravity, I guess. Because you're just gonna go... Whata! And then, in theory, you'll go back. Ideally, I want this to be able to, like, be something it'll like... go through a motion of it launches and then like resets itself. In theory, then we have another, like, have this be a continuous motion of crate falls, it launches, crate falls, it launches. It'd be cool to have that just be this sort of continuous loop. In theory. So if this is the thing with the rigid body, I guess this is the thing that'll get the catapult code. Yes? Yes. Or, no, actually, just to not have potential later problems, I'm going to actually have the code on the parent of the whole catapult, because I might introduce, like right now I have just an arm pivot. If this works, then I might make more of a surrounding base. I want this to look like it's actually something that's resting on the ground at the very least, even if I don't go in the full, make the full frame thing. Yeah, so have the code be on the parent in case it's like getting reference to multiple rigid bodies on all the child things. Sound good? Sound good. So this is going to be... just catapult. Cool. Wow, actually starting the coding earlier in the stream rather than, like, rambling for hours and hours and then doing all this setup with Blender things and whatever. The way it should be done is doing, you know, code first, get the thing functional, and then make it look pretty. But doing at least a little bit to make it look decent. Still, it does not look great at the moment, but, you know, it's meant to be temporary. I don't need to, but I'm just going to make that slightly bigger. Whatever, no, that's fine. It's like, as much as I want to, like, make it look better, shouldn't do that right now. So public rigid body, we'll say arm RB, whatever. So I'm dragging and dropping that. Then in theory, this should just be fixed update. Well, I said that I don't want to launch it immediately. We'll have some kind of, I can have it be based on input. I don't want too much in this scene to be based on me having to press buttons, so I'll have it be a timer. Yeah, just do some delay, i.e. numerator, wait to launch. Yield, return, new, wait 4 seconds. Actually, so I was about to say that, so this could do this and then call some launch code. As far as, like, if I wanted to go through a whole loop of it launching and then resetting and then launching, do I want to set up the same, like, state machine thing that I was putting in the drag bot, where it actually has, like, multiple states? So it goes, like, have it be... So we'll have its start state be, like, the resting before it launches. Resting, launch... I guess I want it to be like launch, wait at the end, and then resetting. Resetting. So I want one in between here. What do I call? So there's like resting, extended, whatever. Names doesn't matter. Public state equals the resting state. Probably better names, but whatever, it's fine. Okay, so in this, we're gonna so in theory, there's 2 ways I could do this. The actual going between states. I can do something similar I did with the dragging, where I actually test that we've crossed certain, like, how much that it's rotated to know for it to switch states. I think this should be trivial enough that I should be fine at just being a bunch of timers. Wait 0.2 seconds, launch. Wait 3 seconds, then stop going, and then wait however many seconds, and then pull back. And it just does that consistently. I think I'm okay with that. So if that's the case, so wait some amount of time before we decide that we're going to launch, and then state equals date.launch. Wait some arbitrary another amount of time, and then basically this bit is wait till launch isn't then a great name, but whatever. Start coroutine. It's fine. It just needs to work. I'm also gonna actually rename this to current state. Go to launch. Go to extended. Let's give this like 3 seconds. Wait 1 second in that. Go to resetting. We'll say that in theory it would like quickly go up and then slowly go back. So in theory this will take longer. I don't know, 6 seconds, let's say, and then yeah, something like that. And then you'll go back. So in theory, well, when you reset, you're only gonna wait for like 1 second. Let's say 2. I don't know if these amounts of time will need to change. Probably. I expect the answer will be that it will. So then we can do a switch statement based on the current state. Let me just, again, just kind of get all the states in here. Yep. No, you missed one. The auto-filling failed me. State, resting. Yep. Okay. It's a little bit of, yeah, what is your, resetting. 1 letter off. It's close. Okay. So. Next is, what are we actually having going on in these states? When we're resting, we're gonna, in theory, do nothing. I don't know if I'd want to do anything to, like, make the ridge body itself, like, kinematic, but for now, we're gonna try the nothing approach and see what happens. Same with the extended. In theory, it shouldn't do anything. But yeah, but we'll see if it needs additional stuff, after. Okay. So, when you launch, it should just be rb.add torque. Add relative torque, I think. What axis do you need to turn on? The z-axis. No, you're not the wrong one. Okay. Z-axis, cool. Yep. Not transform.forward. Wait, add relative. No, vector 3.forward. Yep. Okay. And then times some like launch force of 2. Yeah, two things for this. Public. Even the current state here doesn't technically need to be public, but I want to be able to see it in the inspector for now, so it will be for now. Public float launch force, and then public float reset force or something like the force that pullback force. I don't know. Now I'll keep it kind of keeping the same name there. So this times launch force. Do I want this to use the other force modes? Because you can have it be an explosion force. No, I'll try have it be just a really high normal continuous force and just sort of see what that does. This will pull back with reset force. I should have, like, ideally, like, I'm assuming the times aren't going to be perfect. This should have stuff in place so that it can't over or under extend. In theory, this should start actually. Let's have it start just like, yeah, that'd be perfectly flat, just for fun. I don't know if this is gonna fall in there perfectly, but you know, we're gonna find out. So, dragon. Oh, the actual code and the rigid body in question. We're going to try launch force 100 and then the reset force like 20 or something like that. You will not use gravity. I'll give you a little bit of drag and see what that does. Maybe like a little bit of angular velocity. I don't know if that's going to maybe helpful for just have more weight to it or something. You will be allowed to rotate on all the axes for now until I deem... Actually, technically, no. You should freeze rotation on everything but the Z. You shouldn't move. So, yeah, no, I guess I'll stop all that stuff. You should only rotate, and that's it. How do you... I know when you have, like, a hinge joint... So, I know when you have a hinge joint that you can put in limits of how far it's allowed to rotate. I have never used this rotation constraint thing, but I knew it was something that existed. I don't know if this works with rigid bodies, but it'd be nice to, you know, here, just put on this component and put these values rather than having to code stuff manually. Let's find out. If I really, one thing I could do if I really did care, or if this doesn't work and then I want a physicsy way for it to not over-rotate in either direction, that could be where I start to design, like, have stuff going on with the actual catapult so that there's, like, stuff that it's physically hitting off of. Oh, like this. Like how this has a physical board for this to hit off. Interesting. And then it has the ground to not go the other direction. Interesting. So I could look into that. And that'll be like plan B, but I'm curious I've literally never used this rotation constraint thing. Nor do I actually know how it works. And I don't know what activating here does. Let me just quickly jump over to the documentation to see if there's anything helpful here. So this is slightly off screen, but I'm just reading stuff out loud anyway, so it doesn't matter. Wait. Oh, I can... Oh, so activate is like I can rotate something and then say activate. Okay, no, I thought I had an idea of what that meant, but maybe not. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, so after you rotate the constraint object in source game objects, click activate to save this information. Activate saves the current offset from the source game objects in rotation at rest and rotation offset, then checks its is active and lock. Why? Oh, and there's a wait thing. That's what? Yeah, okay, I've definitely, yeah, I'm not quite knowing how, I could Google more things, but I'm just gonna, so do I have to actually pass in, like, whoa. Can I have this thing pass in itself, or is it meant to be on, like, another object or something? Rotation at rest is this, rotation offset, freeze rotation axis is... Don't freeze the Z, but I want, what I was hoping is that I could basically pass in, like, you're only allowed to rotate, like, here on this axis. Or do I set up, do I make this work by setting up, like, other game objects or something? Let me, this would be way faster if I just Google a better proper example. Unity rotation constraint. I like 100% just, yeah, I do, no, I don't, no, hold on. I 100% just am not, something I've never used before and don't quite know how to use. If I just Google stuff, if I could just see an example of what this thing looks like when it's filled out properly, that would be great. Just show me an example of what does source game objects do, and what does the one mean? I don't know. And nor do I know what, like, if this is even something that's meant to be used with physics. Like, is it even going to work? I see an example of, like, position constraint of passing in other stuff. Or is this too... Let me just go into play mode and see what happens. Experience being a teacher of, oh, okay, that's you colliding with the floor, isn't it? Oh, no. Okay, that is it attempting to even do the rotating, which doesn't seem to be working. Oh, I'm using this wrong. I've just read the top line of the thing. A rotation constraint component rotates a game object to match the rotation of its source game object. Oh, okay, that's all this does. Oh, yeah, no, I've assumed this was something that it's not. This is just, like, match the rotation of something else. Yeah, that makes sense. That's completely not at all what I want. That's not great. Oh, well. Okay, so why is this doing what this is doing? I assumed that I could have you rotate around the axis that you are. Well, let me take the cube out of the equation for a minute. If I had, well, this. You have a rigid body, you have all these things. If you're set to... If I freeze, like, the rotation on every axis, for example, you literally shouldn't move. Correct? Yeah, that's what I thought. If I unfreeze the other ones, like, that's not axes that's being told to rotate on in the first place. If I unfreeze this, you moved, though. You specifically moved. If I unfreeze the positions, will you work better? Wow. Yeah, that's not quite what I want. That's... Like, okay, I partially get that it's, we haven't... Oh, you set up a center of mass. Don't do that. Have a center of mass that is where I tell you to be. Yeah, okay, that's what's doing it, I bet. Because it's taking all the colliders and using that to be like, oh, this is what I think my center of mass should be. If I don't do that... Oh, no. So, I mean, kind of. Kind of. And that's through the floor. Because this is something that's going to be moving really fast, you can have, I can have collision detection on continuous, dynamic, or whatever, but... It's, okay, so... Definitely seems like it's having a little bit of problems. I'm going to try its initial... Having its initial rotation not be so close to the ground. Tensor, that's... I don't know if this is... at all what this, should be. I'll try letting that stay being automatic, maybe. I don't know if that's going to help me at all. See, I guess I falsely assumed that this would be easy. I mean, if I... Right now I'm trying to fake some stuff. Oh, hey! Okay, technically that is better. Technically. Interesting. Okay, I mean, other than the fact that it's not, like, stopping itself, like, and, you know, that the actual, like, the sort of pivot isn't, like I'm faking it. So what happens if I... Nope. No, wait a second. The next time it comes around, I just want to plop the cube in the basket, and see if it happens to launch the cube at all. Please? Or is the weight of the cube being too much that now it just won't go? Yeah, you were in the launch state and you kind of did nothing. I could increase the mass of the rigid, like of the catapult, and that might help it be less swayed by the cube. What? Come on. You're in your resting state. That's not even... I've just realized that, oh, I have the stuff set the wrong way. Okay, that's affecting things. Which makes sense. That's why it was launching with the rest force, with which it being so small. I suppose that makes sense. But again, let's try making the mass of the catapult itself larger so that the cube is less affected, or is less affecting its ability to launch in the first place. All right, we're figuring stuff out. Oh, why'd you have to randomize to being that? Okay, I mean that's not quite. I guess I could make you bigger. Let me just go back out and back in. Hopefully it randomizes to be better, a better cube. It happened to pick the white one the last couple times. Hey, yeah, that's launching. That'd be a catapult, technically. Even that resetting, I would like to be faster. Yeah. There's nothing that stops it. I think I'll try a quick... I don't know if this will be bad, but I'm going to try... Oh, not that at all. Velocity equals vector 3.0. I'm going to, yeah, try have like force stopping it as it hits... as it's in the states where it's supposed to not be moving. So, yeah, the next thing would be... I will actually also... Whoa, not that at all. Not that. Positive 10? Yeah, just have you be, like, a little bit pulled back. Okay, so if I want to actually have rotation limits, I could... There's options with doing this stuff manually. I just want to do a quick... quick bit of Googling just to double check if there's not a built-in, like, thing I don't know already exists. Yeah, I know you can clamp rotations and then set them directly. Like, that was gonna be my go-to, but before I do that, I just want to double check. If there is a better way, especially a way for physics. I mean, well, no. Before I even do that, I could just do it the way that would physically look cooler and potentially be simpler. The solution that is actually having something physical that the catapult bangs off of that stops it from rotating too far. So if I hypothetically had this as like almost a placeholder, like just thing for this to hit up against, make you, I don't know, green, I guess. And that this should be on both sides in theory. Well, I guess it going back, I wouldn't technically be fine with it colliding with the floor, but we'll try having it not go like fully at the floor by having this be like here-ish. So in theory, I'm just gonna call these stopper. Yeah. So in theory, I could like if I were then turn this into fully properly 3D modeled thing, I would take this and make a like a frame out of it where this is part of it. But just messing around with things for now. So that goes in. It kinda just didn't. Why not? Usually when you have rigid bodies and stuff like clip through things, it's because they're moving too fast. Like, this wasn't really, like, yeah, rotating fast at all. Let me just, as a test, just make it physically bigger and see if that, and even, I could make this just, if it's physically, if the colliders are physically bigger, maybe it'll have better luck. Just kind of, if not, then, like, if it still goes through, then I'm gonna just have to assume that it's something else. Okay, try that again, shall we? And launch. Why? Let me just see if it does it on the way back, because it's gonna be, you know, extra slow. That hit. I can make this taller. But yeah, that's weird. That's, I'm not completely sure. Like, Like, I get that it's applying a lot of force because the mass is so huge. Even the force of it, the reset force should perhaps be bigger. I thought the whole point of, was part of the point of it being on continuous dynamic would mean that it wouldn't do that. Let me just... Yeah, could you not? Like, you're not going that fast. I'm not quite sure why that's happening. Like, I know that I'm applying a lot of force, but, like, still? Do I need to... What happens if I reduce the angular drag? Could I... Maybe just the drag. Could I get away with the mass being less? And if the mass is less, then maybe I'll have better luck with it? Again, another problem I was not expecting to have. Like, I know that you can have issues with rigid bodies going through stuff when things are going fast. But in this case, stuff isn't going fast. Oh, is this stopping moving because I... let me double check. Yeah, you're gonna do that. For the sake of testing right now, I just want to, while I'm off to the side Googling things, I just want to set the player settings here so that it's running in the background. Yeah. So, why? I also don't know if all these colliders are a problem. Let me just, as a test, turn all these off. Even I'm gonna move them like outside the catapult as a test. The only thing here is the arm pivot and the arm. I don't know if there's being more of a problem with the fact that the yeah, I see you trying to rotate into that a lot, but But why? Rotating through things. The problem is the thing that's confusing me is that it's happening at such a low velocity. Because again, I know that you can have problems with stuff going through things at a high velocity. Ooh. And I guess just to double check, if I do go through all of these... Oh! I actually don't know if me changing that mid it running, I don't know if that's actually like having effects or not. If I try these on interpolate or extrapolate, I don't think it's gonna help. Yeah. But again, me changing stuff mid it running, I don't know if that's also gonna be messing with things. Why are you... Of all the things, this shouldn't be... But I know having multiple colliders, that could be messing with something. If I did remake this and it was all one collider, the scale of things were fine. Like, it could be partially a scaling issue. Unsure. Let me try something again as just a test, just to see what happens if I do certain behaviors. These stoppers. Let me turn some things purely into collider, or like having only the colliders having certain scales. And let me just put this all to 1. I said 1. Put you at 1, but your collider is like that. You, this wasn't the one that was really having the problem. The arm, let me just do this. If this, so now the objects don't match up, but the colliders do. Oh wait, another thing I learned about today. Oh, I don't remember. I believe there is a physics debugger where you can have. I don't know how this actually works. Vision geometry. Yeah, you can visualize like all the colliders of stuff, which is cool. I'm just curious to see if now that the game objects themselves have positions of 1 or have sizes of 1, will the collisions be better? No, unfortunately, that didn't seem to be the case. I was hoping that it would. What are you resting on? Wait, you stopped. Oh, because now these boxes aren't like a part of it. They're just objects on their own. Yeah. Why are you intersecting so much? I have to assume that it's because it's having to do with the force is so high. I mean, in theory, it should, I guess, be the case that if the amount of, like, if it's physically rubbing against something here, it shouldn't be continuing to try to rotate. Like it, I could change the changing state thing to just physically be like, once you've crossed this rotation, then just stop. Or an on-trigger enter of when you've hit this thing, then stop. And I feel like I shouldn't have to. It feels unnecessary. Although in a quote-unquote real catapult, it wouldn't just be applying a random rotation. It would be like there's a massive weight here that suddenly gets released. Or like a weight and then like a string that gets released or cut or whatever. And then it would go. So if I did want to keep this being more properly like just the physics, doing physics things, I could go to that level of introducing a massive weight and stuff. But do I want to? This was meant to be just a quick and simple thing that I kind of thought would work earlier than it has. But it did seem that changing the colliders and stuff on things, that didn't seem to really help. It seemed to all work basically the same. It still had the same problem. I could... One additional option that I have is changing this to be force mode dot impulse. And you know what? Just because why not put it here? Well, okay, well, no, not exactly like this, but like this. Which means, okay, this is going to be doing significantly less now, but whatever. Just as a test here. Oh, no, wrong one. I just want to see what happens if I... This probably won't work too well on the resting one, but I just want to see if I just apply one massive force that probably then doesn't need to be quite that big. Be more of this explosion-y kind of thing. What happens? Does it happen to work better? Okay, you're still not doing a whole lot. Let me just... Why are you jittering that much? And go. Wait. Really? The cube is too much. Can you get the cube out of there for a second? And any day now? That's still like... Yeah. Weird. Again, just kind of not being the result that I'd be expecting to have. Oh, you're in the wrong state. That's why you're only launching at the wrong... You're not going at the extend state, not at the launch state. Hold on. This should technically, for this test, be here. This should technically be there, I suppose. But you really still needed to be like 1,000. That feels massive. Again, I am having like the mass of this being high. But that's just so that... Okay, I guess that happened. I didn't see how this collided with this. Looking... You still went through! I assume because it was applying this, like, continuous force. Why? Why is this having such a problem? It shouldn't be, right? If I, okay, let me again try taking out these other colliders and just have the one, effectively. Move you out of the way. Will you suddenly work better? Not this. I mean, it happened super fast. It was hard to tell. I want to say there was probably like a frame of it, but... okay, so it seems like more of the problem is just because of the extra colliders then? Which, like... Because now it's going a lot faster, that having these extra colliders... Is the way that it applies the mass, does it, like, apply it per collider or something? Or per object? If I had one game object that had all of these colliders on it, would that still be funky in the same way? It's not something I'm sure about. So it does seem, though, that at least some of this physical weirdness might fix itself if I did just, instead of having this blocky system as I have it at the moment, if I actually just made a bit of a catapult and have it all be like just one thing with one, like, I guess a mesh collider. But even that feels like... If I made a very detailed, very interesting looking catapult, I wouldn't want a mesh collider with that. Usually you'd then take that, it's like block collider here, block collider here, block collider here, block collider here, but I don't know. Let's just try this for the sake of trying stuff. If I say that this is the arm, but then have... And yeah, for the sake of it maybe working better as far as the physics is concerned, we'll try having it all be one object, which I guess I'm gonna do this a weird way. I'm gonna do it like this. Nope. Okay, hold on. I have to do it individually. Fine. And while I'm here, I'm gonna make it a lot bigger because it being barely big enough to fit the cube. I'd rather it be, like, have more to work with. So if it was hypothetically like this doesn't have... Do I care about it having the walls? Does it need the walls? Like, while it's mid-launching? Maybe it has very, very tiny walls or something. So now just... do this roughly. It doesn't need to be perfect for what we're doing here. Oh. How about it? No. Actually, I want to get this over roughly there. This roughly here. Say that's close enough. And then take these guys. Something along those lines. Oh. Extrude. And you know, just have it be a little like 0.2. Have it just be a little thing, just so it doesn't like slide off effectively. While I'm here, I should also from this have like the pivot point be wherever I want it to actually rotate around. So we'll say, we'll have it be like here. So it can rotate like that. And maybe while I'm at it, I make the end of this look like an actual, like there's some kind of big weight or something here. Just... What happens if I don't actually know what this will physically look like if I tried to... Almost, if I then, well, did that not on the Z-axis. Wait, hold on. I'm pressing all not the buttons that I want here. Okay. Take this E, but then scale on not that axis. Don't want it to be too big, but in theory I do something like this and then just... I don't know. It's a weight. I don't quite like how it's looking. Whatever. Blah! It's a catapult, totally. It's not gonna have the charm of having a bunch of different colors, but for now, we'll see. I just want to see more. I'm more curious about the functionalness of this, of it being all one model, that actually the origin of it is where we want it to be. Oh, let me while I'm here, the scale of it, things are all one. It's all gonna be just one mesh collider. I'd even be fine. Oh, it's gonna have to be all convex. We're gonna just try it here. I'm just curious if doing this route will fix the wonky physics problems. If it doesn't, I'll be confused, but I guess we'll see. I want to, whoa, this, the no animations one. Let's see what this does. Okay, and over here, are you gonna, oh, your sizes of things are wrong. I don't know if even this will cause a problem of setting the scale factor here to 0.5. I don't know if that's going to throw off anything or whatever, but I guess we're going to find out. So yeah, I'm just going to have to... Even the rotation of stuff, I don't know if, I don't know what's going to matter in what ways. And it's all a game of we're going to see. So this, if this is to match this, in theory I should be able to just copy, I'm going to copy and paste the rigid body. New. I'll start by just keeping all the settings the same. I might need to, mess with them. Change the catapult to going off of this other rigid body. Keep the stoppers as they are. Turn off the other thing. This. Move the cube. I don't have to, but I'm just going to throw on a random color. Sure. It's the right side. Wrong side up. Which again, I don't know how much that's gonna matter, but whatever. Oh, beat. I don't know. I'm just picking random colors to see what looks decent. I'm at least seeing more shadows and stuff. Right, one, you don't have a mesh collider. Two, yeah, I should have, right, because you're trying to rotate on the Z-axis specifically. I need to have the mesh be so that it's with all zeros facing the right direction, just to have every little thing be perfect. Okay, so what way is that going to translate to here? So this and wait, no, hold on. No. Pressing Control Z in the wrong programs. So you on the what? It's the RZ negative 90. Nope. That's gonna be actually the X negative 90. Is that correct for just facing upwards? Nope. Have to actually save it. For to do. Oh, that's real funky. Oh wait, did I undo? I undid. I guess applying the scale at some point. Yeah, isometricness. So now you're up. So now you just need to rotate on the Y 180. Now you should be good. Good. And then I just gotta give you an actual collider. Not a box collider. We're gonna try the route of going a mesh collider based on itself. We'll make it convex. We'll see. We'll see if that's gonna cause problems for us or not. I'll move this down a little bit more, and this up and over. Let's see what happens. I don't know. Is this gonna suddenly work a lot better? Yay or nay? You hit off of this. Let me just get this out of here for a second, because it's the upper one that's the one I care about more. And yeah, there that goes. You look like you're gonna when you do. So it didn't launch because it hit the floor, but it, despite hitting the floor, still looked like it just it went through the collider and then pulled back. Although, now, though, it might not need as much force. And if it doesn't need as much force to go, then maybe it will... Then that's what's going to fix it. And that was it trying to launch. But that's the issue. So if I have the mass being low, maybe even the mass of the cube itself set to like 0.1. Maybe that'll work better, just reducing all of it. Okay. Okay, better. Less force. Made it go more. Okay. Maybe we're figuring this out. How about now? Interesting. So that seemed to kind of work. I'm gonna be then curious to then take this same strategy and apply it when we're applying do what we're doing, but have it be when we're doing a constant force rather than have it be when we're applying a constant force rather than... Oh, wait, right. You being a convex collider, you're not going to get those. Like, I made this taller, but I just realized that that's not going to matter. Unless I mess with the actual colliders, which we're probably inevitably going to do shortly. But, yeah, have it be a constant force. I'm just curious of what's going to happen. Yeah, because that leaves very early on because of how much of an explosion force it is. So now let me try that. Oh, I didn't pay attention. The thing I actually more so care about when this particular test, do I see this physically clip into this? No. Okay. There's a chance. Okay, so it did, yeah. It's not that the physics system is completely broken, it's just I'm not using it right. Fair enough. So go back to here, have it not be the impulse one. Which means you'll need to be large again, but that's okay. And in theory as well, like, in theory once this is launching more consistently, then I can turn down the amount of time. In theory, it should basically match that. Like, once it's hit the side, then it stops. It could even stop applying the force beforehand, but not immediately set this to 0, so that it is launching with this force and then starts to stop once it hits, like, the top, and then it, you know, sort of fades off until it hits the thing. That also could be how I set it up better. But let's see what happens here. There we go. That's how that should be. Now, I'm just curious if I do up the force, like, will I then start to see it clipping through again? It was... Okay, it did it a little bit, but it wasn't like... Yeah, it did do it a little bit. It wasn't the worst thing in the world, but it probably then would be made better if I, as I just said, like, maybe once it's at, like, 90... Like, once it's at the fully upright, then it stops applying the force, and then it's just... It's momentum carrying it the rest of the way. Yeah. In theory, even this, when it was rotating here, it... Like, in theory, it would, like, I don't know, have gravity sort of... Well, no, I guess gravity wouldn't really... With the weight here, I was going to say have it, like, fall faster, but... yeah, I don't know. Interesting, though. But we have a starting thing. I am curious, though, to... So, on the conveyor belts, I have this block generator thing. Putting one of these above the catapult, but having different settings, so that this becomes... It's generating these blocks above the catapult, they fall onto the catapult, and then it's just continuously launching them. Is interesting as an idea. So then the spawn time would need to change. So this is to spawn stuff randomly. For this example, I'll spawn stuff on like at a fixed rate. And ideally it needs to spawn them when it's like in the resting position, but yeah. Okay, so if I were to then take this, so the next thing that I would actually want to do is, instead of having this mesh collider the way that it is, I would want to have... so let me just... Now the next test is if I convert this one mesh collider to instead be a bunch of box colliders, will the physics still work, or will it suddenly break into a million pieces? Will it just, yeah, not work like it was before? And then, yeah. which, okay, is, you know, not great to have to then apply these colliders, but, oh wait, can't I do this and then, it's like a little bit hard to see, but yeah, right, okay, this does make it easier if I can just drag it on. So we're having this first one just match the arm itself. Where is this bit? Okay. We'll have a different collider for the actual weight bit. Okay, do this. Da 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 da. Well, it is new. This provide contacts. I guess that's because I updated Unity recently. I think that's I guess just a be a bit of a performance saving measure of not every collider needs to always provide contact points if you have code that just doesn't use such things. Oh, is this, I can see all of them? Okay. Just need to, oh, that's that. Yeah, I was hoping I could like drag the whole thing and then whatever, but nope. Okay, fine. Very well. A little bit of tedious work, but I guess it's necessary. I was hoping to not have to do this, but yeah, it wasn't quite working when I was just having all the placeholder objects with colliders and stuff, but oh well. Okay, so copy, paste, and now I want to move this other one. Whoa, no you don't. Effectively just moving this over here. Technically this didn't need to rotate, I just wanted to get it out of the way. So this is gonna need like a bunch for just all the arms, or all the sides of the basket. That's unfortunate. Unfortunate that I can't just like that it has to be a convex collider for this to really work properly. Okay, but if it must be done, this is yep, can't like, sometimes you gotta do little tedious work and stuff. Oh well. Okay, so I might be able to this. Oh, okay, I can. Oh wait, did I don't know if I actually. You were scaled on those sides. Okay. Whoops. Over here. Oh my yeah. I don't know how wide this bit is. It's like. Oh boy, that's hard to line up. Okay, well, maybe I'll do these two and then test it. Is like there's the chance that I do all this and then it just straight up doesn't work, which would. Like, it then goes back to being how it was before, which, if that's the case, that'll really suck, and then I don't know exactly what to have to do to account for that. And a lot of these problems are only because I'm wanting this to be this, like, physically accurate kind of, not completely physically accurate, like, somewhat physically accurate catapult, rather than it being all just like a fake like animation that's like launching something that's all like pre-rendered kind of like not having to actually be using physics or whatever. If that were the case, I could cheat so much more, but that's not how this currently is, so doing stuff manually and properly, we must. This needs to go out a little bit more. Yeah, it's unfortunate just have to match all this up. One more, last one. In theory, I should be able to just make this for this negative, and there we go, done. Okay, a little bit tedious, but it's over now. Okay, will this work now? Is the question. Please work. It did, well, it went into it a little bit, but I think it did the same amount that it did before, I want to say. Oh, and Okay, yeah, interesting how that's gonna do that, but yeah, I think I am just gonna need to. I guess the solution to this is just to not be applying force when it's in the middle of trying to go into something, which. Oh, it's going into it a lot, actually. Really? That's just... Yeah, yikes. Weird. I don't know. That seems a little bit weird that works that way and that I can't, like, just use the more performance, just be more precise. I guess there is. If I was making a very physically accurate thing, I can up the physics time step. That might help. Although it might introduce more problems. Where is... This is something I've pretty much never done. But I could try. Where's the thing? Where is the thing for to change the physics time step? Am I just not seeing it in here? It's possible. I'm blind. I mean, beyond that, there's just a whole bunch of other settings here that I don't quite know. Don't quite know that the difference between. Where is... Is it not here? I assumed it would be. The 2D physics stuff, that's not gonna help, of course. Can I Google for, like, time step or something? Yeah, fixed time step. Yeah. So you're this. I'm gonna copy this out because I'm gonna paste it back in later. So you're at 0.0199. That is effectively 50 frames per second. If I go 1 divided by 90, let's say, go at 90 frames per second. I'm curious what will happen. Will it have more force? I guess it didn't go into it as much. Okay. Did these work better? Oh. These are going faster, aren't they? Yeah, that I guess makes sense because it's every fixed update I'm applying a force. I up the frame rate. Like, that's not like frame rate independent, which is interesting. It's not something I've usually had to think about before. Why are you not going? You are currently in your launch step. Is it literally just because you're stuck with the amount of cubes on you? There's too many. See, this is also something I ideally wouldn't want. I want, like, the catapult to go anyways. I mean, it is the case that I guess I'm spawning too many too fast. Go 15 and 15 or something, which I'm gonna have to, like, undo in a sec, but go. Why are you not going now? You should, like, you should be able to handle one, in theory. This is definitely taking longer than I thought it would, because I thought this would be, oh, quick, easy, just have a thing that rotates, everything will be fine. But no, physics says, always gotta be complicated, no matter what. Oh, no. Get in there, you really just... Oh, because, right, it's spawning crates with high scales. Right, of course. So I really wanted that to not be a problem, then yeah. Interesting. Okay, so, yeah. Like, what have we learned? I don't know. I think I would like to, it's probably proper, because I'm not trying to actually have a full-on proper physics simulation thing. So keep like this is just for experimentation, just because I should keep the time step on what it actually was. Yeah. So, okay, these crates. I guess, hold on. I will take the prefab of the crate and go make another one that's like light or something. Just have the mass be like 0.1 because. And I don't think I actually want this version to do the random scale bit. Even the rotation, I'm not completely sure of. That part should be fine. Okay, so then I gotta set this block generator to actually spawn the light crate. The seed doesn't matter. Let's just make it anything different, just because. Make the don't spawn the cubes as often. I guess I actually could, if I wanted to be perfectly like in line with all this, I could be 2 plus. Actually, do any of these? Do I want to change any of these? So it's 13 seconds is between perfect loops. Nah, for now, I think it was pretty fine enough how it was. Okay, so... I guess I can move the stopper thing back. But put it, like, more over here. I can even let this, like, allow it to rotate further. So there is also... Like, I am... Right now, trying, like, I'm rotating the thing through force. If I rotate it through directly setting the velocity, that would be another way to ensure more consistency with it if I really cared about always, like, this moving kind of the same. But, yeah, that worked. Like that, it launched. It did indeed. It did the thing. Oh, I didn't fully move this back. What? Why are you stuck? Give me a break. Why is it just not working? It was working a second ago. Is it... Did I change the reset force at one point while I was in play mode and then, like, this ain't enough? I have to assume that that's the case. Did I move code by accident? I don't know. I guess I just up that and now see what happens. Woohoo. Yep, that's a launch, kind of. I mean, because it's only stopping, because it's like stopping here, it's not, it might launch the cube at a higher angle if it stopped earlier. Oh, well, let's say like, stop there. Uh-oh. Get you out of the way, you. Where's the other cube? You should, oh, right. The block generator isn't gonna be, hold on, I have to keep wanting to change things, but I have to go into play mode to do that stuff. You should spawn very consistently. Just to, yeah. The way it, like, lands in it, yeah, it should be pretty consistent. Okay. I made another change. What was it? Oh, it was where these actually were. Okay. Will this be too high? Oh, come on! No! That's incorrect. Why? Why do you do that? And that turned out to be fine. I mean, I only actually wanted this down, like, by the arm, but, well, maybe from here, let's go, copy, position. You're gonna go through it. I might have to do more additional Googling on just why this is being as it is. You went through! You weren't quite supposed to do that. Again, so like there's the idea of if as soon as it, like, having more codes that as soon as it hits a thing, it stops trying to move in that direction. That just feels like it should be an unnecessary step. So, but what do I know? Like, I'm not trying to be lazy, I'm trying to be efficient, I guess. Like, I don't know. Do the proper, whatever the proper way these things should be done. I just don't quite know what the proper way is. Yeah. I don't know how much of this is based on how I set up the center mass. I'm curious now, if I put this back to automatic center of mass, I'm curious what it will do. It's like, yeah, you're not rotating off the right thing. Huh. Will this, for some reason, miraculously just not rotate into stuff, though? Is that possible? Because I'm wondering if maybe it does. Off first glance, this feels like it's being more... It's not trying to go through the floor. So, if I... Oh, I do have the floor set as static. Oh! Right. Out of curiosity, before I go any further, is there any chance that game objects marked as static might have better collision? And maybe even if I mark, if I give this like a kinematic rigid body, is there any just things like that, like quirks with the system? Oh, I also have the drag on this set as 1. Lowering the drag might allow me to have the force be lower again, and then that might be good for again just having it not clip through stuff as much. So I was gonna put this back to not having the center of mass that I set again. Just to see that. Yep, still going through. So even though I did mark these as static, what if I put a kinematic rigid body on you? We'll keep the rest default just for the moment. Just messing with stuff to see what happens. Nope. Was hoping that would actually make a difference. Yeah, okay, fine. Fair enough. So is it really... Why would having the center of mass be different? Like, it makes... I can understand it throwing off some of the calculations, but I don't know, to this degree. No, you are still... Okay. You do still try to go through a little bit, just I guess not as much. Also, these, the textures, I think, haven't changed, but whatever. Just... Or I guess I can't move it because well, if I delete you, you're gonna still try to... You can still... No, I guess not. I wasn't sure if it would still act like it was there or not. If the collision stuff is better like this, because I guess it isn't colliding as much, then maybe it could be a good thing that if I were to potentially model this thing out, set up the colliders so that the calculated center of mass basically is right where I wanted it, in theory. But that also doesn't seem like a great thing to do. There's also the idea of, instead of rotating this how it currently is, if I did something similar to these gears, where I just have basically an axle setup, where I have this gear thing that's rotating, and then this is like parented under that to then swing. But I don't know if that would also cause any weird additional quirks. I could, real quick, just as a bit of messing around, if I took the collider here, made it bigger, so you think that you have more center of mass in this direction, even though it's already, like, I'm overriding the center of mass, just by doing this, then the center of mass that it's calculating, if it's, like, closer, if the sort of calculated center of mass is somehow closer to the real center of mass, I don't know if that'll do stuff differently. That's potentially possible. It did. It seemed to a little bit. Interesting. So this does seem to be some kind of, like, yeah, some weird center of mass issue that I don't fully understand why it's the case. But I can, like, see... Like, I can see the cause, even though if I don't have a full, solution. Can I believe I can, if I, automatic center of mass. Isn't there a way to visualize the center of mass? Can I, is there a way to see it? Not 100% sure. There's the physics debug. I don't know if there's a way to that. Unity, first thing I'm thinking of is Kerbal Space Program. That's a game I know is made in Unity, and it has stuff with being able to, like, seeing objects, see the center of mass and stuff like that of the rockets that you build. But Unity center just of mass. Can I see center of mass? I could, in theory. I'm seeing stuff with, like, custom code things. I could potentially, like, draw something in you like you know, editor code that, like, draws it and whatnot. But I'm trying to see if I could, if there's something more built in or whatever. Yeah, not seeing a great way, but whatever, I guess. But so now I'm curious something else. So now if I put this back to using the 0001, is it, like, it is better? So we have that versus this. How is it gonna behave? That's interesting. So now it's rotating more like, yeah, over there. That seems like almost like I've made this effectively too big. Curious now if I make it smaller, sort of what's gonna happen. That's very close, but it's still clipping through. So even with the automatic center of mass, it still is clipping through. Interesting. I think I'm gonna put it back to kind of how it was, actually matching the geometry. Leave this at 0. I probably should be a thing that I like. What would kind of fix this is that I just don't apply this for so long. I want to, like, I could go back to this being in this explosion force, but I essentially want it to continuously apply for a little bit, but only, like, basically a couple seconds, and then once it's, like, you know, up here, then just let momentum carry it the rest of the way. But I don't want it to just be one explosion force thing. I want it to still, like, kind of build up like it's pushing until it's not. If I want that, I could introduce another state. I don't know what I'd call it. Just launch momentum or something. I don't know. So wait, go to launch. Wait, go to launch the launch momentum. So have you wait. Let's try you just waiting 1 second. So 1 second of continuous force, and then let the momentum carry it 2 seconds. And then when you are on launch momentum, then go. Well, this is then just gonna do nothing, but still having that state to be told to do nothing, but also don't do this canceling out of the velocity. Which even this, I don't know if I should maybe take out. But I don't want to, like, bounce and start going back. I guess would be the problem that could have if I get rid of it. I also thing I still haven't tested with is so currently I'm doing all this with you know, doing the add torque. I think that's a symptom of it that it's not leaving soon enough. You really need to be less. Let me go actually on the catapult so I can see physically its state and what it's doing. How? Really? I thought I was so sure that would potentially solve my problems, but it's going purely off of momentum, and yet it's still, once it gets to this point, and you're still going through? Really? Why? Why would you do that? It just seems like that isn't what should be happening. I thought for sure that that would, I mean, I guess it's happening less, but the fact that it's still happening at all is crazy. Did I type some wrong code or something? I mean, technically, I put this in the wrong order, but it doesn't affect the functionality of it. This is just, like, let it go. So, I'm curious, I guess, just as another thing to test, just for the sake of doing it. Actually, before I finish that sentence, I just want to double check. What do I have the mass of this currently set at as 1? Okay. If I turn down the drag, and then as a result of that, then have to turn down the launch force to go the same amount, will I then notice that being better? Well, actually, I mean, already it was kind of too slow. Didn't even launch it far. I haven't actually been looking too much at the, how far it's actually been launching it. Yeah, that wasn't much, and yet you still go through. But if I change this to just be a direct setting of velocities, actually, before I do that, let me just kind of comment that out just so I have it to look back on. Velocity, right, the angular velocity is what I actually am caring about. Right, so equals, this is going to be transformed, not forward, to be equivalent. Launch force, then a launch velocity. I'm going to have to make it smaller. I don't know how much. Let's just do that and just try. I'm just curious, what am I going to see happen here? Yeah, okay. Yep, that was fast. That was fast, all right. And it was more instantaneous speed. How were you going that slow and still intersecting? How is that possible, man? Look at that. Why? Why is that happening? And like, what should I be doing to combat that? Like, it seems to be just a weird, like, rotation thing. Like, if I have, these don't seem to intersect, and if they are, it's not by much. Is there something with, I don't know, like the physics material I have set up on these? Like, is that doing something funky? These are having like the none, but like in the physics settings, there's a, like, the default physics material I have on is one that has like a kind of medium amount of friction. I don't even know. Yeah, this is like a puzzling thing that is not what I really expected to see. It's not really the biggest deal in the world. Like, even like right now, it is going through very minimally. But I don't know, the fact that it is at all is not good. But it's not like, it doesn't seem to be. Let me test something else. Let me just to see other things. If I put you here, this will smash into this. Does it go through the cube? No. Or it seemed like it didn't. Why did that seem to have better collisions? Unless I just didn't see something, but it looks like. Why? That's weird. That's extra weird. Why is the collision here better than when that's not there, when this should in theory be a simpler case? And it goes through. That's so funky. If I made this a, like, well, one, if I go back to just to test something I tested before, make sure that it's still working the same. If you are a, what's your, you're just at normal, like, beyond discrete or whatever. Yeah, you still went through if you're just a kinematic rigid body. If I make you a non-kinematic rigid body, but then freeze your position and rotations and stuff, will that weirdly be different? If so, that's very weird behavior. And I'm sure. No, that still went through. Okay. Why? What? Wait, why though? Now how does that differ from the cube then? Why are you so insistent on going through? I just don't get it. I don't now get like what's different. Like, you're not going through. Not that I'm seeing anyway. What's the difference? What's different here between one? Okay, there it kind of did a little bit. It seemed like not as much. Yeah, I can put you at, continuous collision detection. If I did on both, let me go back to it being just these two. Ha! Now you're getting back to kind of where you were. I should put this back to normal rotation. If you are also on continuous speculative, will you suddenly not go through? Oh. There's a chance, maybe? Maybe. But, okay, I didn't think I'd need both on continuous speculative. I thought if, like, one was, then that would be enough. Maybe not. Nope. Spoke too soon. I don't understand. I can pretend to understand, but I don't. Is it just because of the weird angle? If this was at a slightly different, like, more in line with this, like, will I notice it significantly being different? Oh yeah, 100%. Weird. Why? But again, no. Why? Why? I mean, I guess if that's, so, like, I guess it's just some weird, like, if you have things at weird angles, like, I guess, yeah. Okay. So maybe it's not as much of a problem. But it went through before. Earlier, I had a case where it was just going through. Because we are still in a case where we don't have what we want. Because the thing isn't actually being launched that far. There's the going through. Although that might have been related to me, making the thing super high. Like, mid-game. And you will just miraculously, potentially behave better if I change your center of mass. That's, well, marginally. Weird. Again, like, of all the things, not the problem I was expecting to have. I expected, make a catapult, it'll be easy and quick, and everything will work and be fine. You'll just launch a thing, and it'll be fine, then we move on to whatever I wanted to do next, which was making, like, a pickaxe-type thing that can actually embed itself in a wall, which now, like, who knows even how that's gonna go at this rate. For my, like, random streams that I've been doing of just like, oh, let's make a random new thing in Unity that I haven't really done before. Maybe I should pick some things next that, like, aren't physics related, because most of the problems that I've been having with this stuff have just been dealing with physics stuff. When we made these lasers, where'd the other laser go? Oh. Uh-oh. How long has it been gone? I had, like, I thought I duplicated the other laser starter and then moved it over. Did I not actually duplicate it? Because when I was just trying to have a placeholder of, darn. Well, I have a copy of it. I'm gonna just go get that back before I do anything else over in this other scene. But it said laser start, like, 2. There was a 2 there. I remember there being a 2. I don't know what happened, but oh well. I mean, it's a very quick fix, so not the biggest problem. I mean, it sucks that I have to reposition it to, like, line it up, but yeah. Well, I'll go in play mode then. I just wanted to bounce off most of these things. Like, that is the incorrect direction. Yeah, do that. Copy position, go out and paste. See, this worked fine. Just physics. And I was hoping, like, doing all this stuff through physics to basically get around having to manually program a bunch of stuff with rotations and whatnot. But then the physics is having its own breakdown of just issues, which is weird. But, unfortunately, I'm almost running out of time. I do need to stop a little bit early tonight. Which is unfortunate. Cause I do so also, like, the actual video that I'm working on, that's where I mainly want to be putting my focus and working on that, but, yeah. Oh, well. Okay, so how do I want to wrap this up, then? Like, okay, like, let me just... let's say that, like, it going through here is, like, fine. Not the biggest deal. That doesn't look... that's so sad. Let me go back to when it was the applying through force way, and then mess with my public variables a little bit more. Try something like that. Get this back to just being in a state where it's like decent, even if it's not perfect. So there it is. That's, like, it's decent, but it's not launching far enough. I do the same thing, but have it actually launch further. Let's just start there, which, this having more arc to the swing is a starting point of that. So, okay, let me wait for this to... I need one that falls that actually lands in the basket. Yep, okay. I don't... Okay, I need one that's actually, like, stationary in the thing. So let me catch this one that falls and go. Mess with it. Oh no. Okay, turn off the block generator. Just launch you, but like, let me get the clock. Again, also I'm saying that that's fine because I it didn't I didn't allow it to stabilize. I have the 13 seconds. That's how long the sort of loop is here. Just from how I happen to set things. Actually, no, I modified the timer since, so it might not be the case anymore. So that got that much distance. Let me just... Oh, whoa, okay. I duplicated it. I didn't expect the duplicate to take in the different color. What? What are you doing now? Give me a break. Like, I was fine with it slightly clipping through, but if you're gonna just, like, not be able to reset... Why? What is this thing's problem? I don't understand. Oh, get in the basket. Nope. No. I don't understand. You think you're in the resetting state and the resting state, yet you're just... It's because, like, the colliders are hitting all up and around there. If it was just the arm. Well, why does that matter? Why does that matter? I don't understand you, physics engine. I thought I did at the beginning of this stream. And, why? I guess not. Alright, that's a decent amount of range. I'm just gonna, I guess, I have to copy these values. So copy this position, manually memorize. I put in 120. Let's try 80, and well, the 20 was fine. Because again, if it's slow, it's fine. It's just when it's fast, it's a big old problem. But I didn't think it was like that fast for it to be such a huge issue. Okay, so this stopper I moved to... I barely moved that. Wow, okay. So let's see. Will this thing launch in some fantabulous way? You left the basket early, but, like, I guess it's fine. Yeah. Block generator. If you're not that as far in the air, then you're gonna... Let me move you forward just a little bit. You're less likely to bounce out of the basket. Oh, we got big cube. And, yep. That's getting launched all right. It's just not as, like, I don't know. Cool if it was, like, whipping it across a large area. Ah, it still bounced out. Okay, let's see. The next one doesn't. But the trying to whip it and, like, having it, like, go, like, a lot faster just seems like it's... The physics is just not having it. And like, if theoretically I should be able to get this to work without having to increase the physics time step. That just feels like such a performance wasting, unnecessary step. But what do I know? What do I know? What happens if I put the mass of this to being really low? Will a lower mass cause more or less problems? Looks like the answer was more. Get yourself out of the ground. Whoa. And reset you. You're not stopping, I've noticed. Don't I have code that's saying to have... setting the velocity of the rigid body to 0? When you're in the resting state? That's an additional just thing that doesn't seem to be happening. I guess you're not in the resting state for that long. Right, of course, that, yeah, I'd have to make this a lot larger because of, yeah. Well, let's now go, yeah. It's never, well, no, it did clip into the ground before. I was about to say that it's never gone into the ground. That's not entirely true. And it just casually pretends that that thing doesn't exist. Is it because the arm is thin? Is it because this is thin? If they were, like, bigger, would it just happen less? I don't know. Well, look, it's just like, nah, there's no collision there. Who cares? Weird. Very weird. Very strange indeed. I can pretend to know what's going on. But alas, I don't. I'd like to say this is good enough, but it's clearly not. Well, the few launches that it did, like it got that red cube over there. I got that one extra further. It's like the more of these things we've made, the more unhinged and just broken that they've gotten, because we have, like, this is working perfectly. Like, I don't know what magic happened here where this whole physicsy chain conveyor belt thing, like, this was working fine. It took some work to get there, but a lot of this, like, there's very little code actually on these. It's basically just the gears turning and a bunch of planks on hinge joints, and yeah. I mean, these lasers, this, like, worked perfectly, like, no issues here. It's not really fully showcasing what these lasers can do, because they currently can. They have the capabilities of turning and bouncing off of stuff, and, like, that's cool and all. We had this procedural thing, this procedural dragging mabob. Yeah, that's not quite, not quite doing... Technically, it is technically moving, just not at all how we want it. And then we have this catapult that is just, it's just a weird collision issue. Like, that's all that's currently being such a huge pain. I guess, technically, if I got rid of the stoppers entirely, and then just time stuff so that as it hits certain angles, it stops, then I guess technically then it would be working. It just feels, I don't know, I want it to be more physical than it currently is, but it's not. So yeah, even this, you know what, I guess technically this is working better than when those things were involved. There is, okay, the separate issue of the falling things not, like, landing, like, that's not, I'm not as worried about that. That's more just like a testing thing. If I had a better feeding into the catapult mechanism, like, that wouldn't be so much of a problem. I'm more care about the catapult itself once it's, like, is properly loaded. Didn't I tell this to not randomize the scale? I just realized that I've been getting cubes with randomized scales. I thought I specifically got it to not do that. Unless, oh wait, the very first one that's not being spawned by it, that one's having different scales, but yeah. Okay. If I didn't randomize the rotation, they also probably wouldn't bounce. Let me just... Whoa, 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 whoa. I'll turn just the code off, but not getting rid of it, just so I can undo it if I want to. So now this next one, it should spawn better, so it, like, not hitting all the corners and bouncing, right? Yeah. The timing isn't right anymore. Yep. We're over here. Blah. Do I want to change any of these timings? I don't know if I care to. I could be adding this up with my brain, but oh well, I'd rather have it be exact. 12.5. I reduced it by half a second. 12.5. Yeah, even the yeah, this. So now part of me wants to like make the walls make the walls taller, but the act of doing that would mean having to adjust all those manual colliders, which sucked the first time, and I wouldn't want to have to just keep making small adjustments that I don't even know if I'm going to be happy with. Which, yeah. I get, like, so, nope. If this thing was more, like, finalized, I get that the act of having all these manual colliders is better for, like, performance and stuff, and, like, just, yeah, but unfortunate to have to do it that way. The way that we had it before, I'm curious that now, so now that we have this, well, as it currently is, I do still have the old arm pivot thing, the one from over here. I do still have that set up. I'm curious, let's just, now that I've modified this, I kind of go back to this. You had a scale of 1. No drag. I don't know if you probably just should bring that back at having a little bit of drag. But have you go off this one. I don't know if I should mess with these just to... hold on. Almost just increase the base of it as well. You know, taking the arm too. Just bigger, so it's like a little bit closer to the actual the other thing. And then just move you up. Wait, the arm pivot is move you up so you have more for this to hit down there. I'm curious if this is going to be at all similar or if it's going to be like still a lot more broken. I didn't move you high enough. You seem like you would need, like you're gonna need more, because you have all the colliders, like yeah, you're gonna need, which is weird then, that it does seem to treat, why would it do that? It does seem to then be treating, having multiple game objects with them each having their own colliders. Seems to be treating that different than one game object with a bunch of colliders on it, which I thought that conceptually behind the scenes that would be the same thing, but like I guess it might not be, which is weird because it can be a lot more convenient to be able to set up colliders on their own objects, even if I'm not ignoring the mesh part of it, because sometimes just moving an object around is easier than moving around a mesh. I don't know if part of it's because, like, if the scales of things were all... Well, no, I thought I tested before. Having the scales of these be 1 and then the colliders themselves having the actual scale, that didn't seem to make a difference. I don't know. Yeah, there's, like, weird differences, and I don't understand why those differences were happening. Okay, it's funny that it is basically just perfectly stacking boxes. That is kind of funny. If I were to make this bigger, eventually, in theory, it will want this. Yeah, kind of. Hey, that's distance. It cleared the field. So that's something. But, so I guess in theory this is workable. Having the weird collision issues, but no, it's like not really colliding with the ground weirdly. It's just these, the arms that I tried to have, like the stoppers. So like if I didn't do the stoppers, that we wouldn't have had half these problems apparently, which is, I don't know, weird. And yet, immediately it's going through, and I don't understand why. But it's not going through the ground. And if it is, it's like not by a lot. I don't know what's magically weird with these stoppers that I've tried to make, of why it just does not care. And it's like, yeah, I'll just go through it anyway. Just do weird bounces. It's super weird, and I don't get it. But oh well, I guess. If I go back to this not having a rigid body and is it just a fancy collider, will you still have the same issues? If I physically just made it bigger, would you, like, cooperate a lot better? I also don't know. Just be this massive thing. Is it just a weird size issue? Really? I mean, you did clip through it, but I guess you didn't, like, go through it entirely. If I then rotated you so that you'll actually hit it, like, more flat, maybe it'll be better yet again. Because that also seemed to help before. It still has this noticeable bounce back, although I guess it's hitting the lip there. Let's try, like, one more time with it hitting just the arm part, hitting just this bit. Still went through, but it's not perfect, but whatever. Anyways, testing aside, I'm going to go back to the other one. This one, because this seemed to be at least... This did seem to be, I guess, more consistent overall. And the how far it's launching, does seem like I can... Oh, wait, didn't put this back to this. Put this back to 100, let's say, and see, get more distance out of it. How high does this need to be to clear the field, and also not, but still not, oh. Dale. Fine. How high does this need to be to clear the field, but not, break everything? Now, stop falling out. Do I need to move the block generator, really? About here? Oh yeah, right, you're parented. The other things are parented just for, sake of kind of cleanup. Okay, with bouncing you might barely do it. Nope, I guess we're gonna increase it more. More! 50, I just try not to go too high, I guess. I mean, technically, okay, on a technicality, that does it. But even with this, I don't know if it still would be better if it actually, because yeah, that is something that's happening. The top of the basket thing here is kind of pulling it down. If this stopped earlier, like with these stopper things I tried to make, then it would actually potentially launch forward. Right now it's just smashing it into the ground, which is mildly interesting, I guess, but let's put this back at 100. Yeah. That's why even if it started fast and then slowed down up here, that also would affect things. Yeah, but it's still technically a catapult. Technically, it's more of a success than the thing over there, the dragging robot thingy. Okay. Yeah, anyways, I think I'm about out of time. I do need to, stop a little bit early tonight. I was expecting this to be like a short little stream of just doing stuff. Yeah, kind of went well. It did kind of work. Oh, I've just realized that, the cubes still have... They have code that prevents them from moving on axes that I don't want them to... Or, not even coded, I think it is just that I froze the, Z-axis. I'm curious what behavior you're going to have when I don't do that. What will you do? Actually, I think it'll affect the next one that it spawns, which wasn't that one. Making just a line of cubes. I don't know how each one is slowly getting less distance, but whatever. Alright, this next one should be allowed to move on the Z. See what it does. Oh, it's slightly moved. Wow, crazy. I mean, if I wanted to, technically this catapult can turn and launch stuff on an angle. Not that that matters that much. Yeah, okay, that did things. It did indeed do stuff. I've also just realized that this thing launching itself further, it could potentially be capable of launching itself further if I move both of these higher. Use having more of an arc to swing. I then do need to line this up more. Once again. Which I understand that a lot of what I'm currently doing is going to get undone the second I go to play mode, but I still just wanted to test with this stuff regardless. Ooh, that's not fully in. Oh, that's some height. Not quite what I was going for. Let's try that out. Yeah, the for that angle, like that angle might be too much, and then the catapult might need to be the arm thing might need to be larger if I were to go with that. How's that less distance? Excuse me. Okay, you're kind of in. That you were able to just leave sooner. It's, yeah. I don't know. Whatever. I think so I made a bunch of changes that are getting undone. That's fine. Whatever. How it currently is after stuff getting undone, it launches stuff, kind of in general. Yeah. Hey, technically that one made it. Woo! So I guess I'm gonna. Whatever. It's fine enough. Okay. So that was a catapult. I was as I said, I was intending to initially do more, even with making the catapult actually look nicer and be connected to the ground in some way. I mean, if I wanted to, I can just like how do I want to do this? Just, so if I'm not using these stoppers, something like. Put a thing here that just is like a thin little. That's not thin. Actually, be perfectly like. Well, let's start doing a 1x1 cube again. 0, 0, 0, actually, and then move you just up a little bit. Be a little bit like. Do this, but then up, and then. Have this part of it purposely not have a collider. It's just for visual sake, I guess. This thing is gonna go through it. Okay. Well, okay, I can pretend that this is making a bit of a actual axle of some kind. I guess. Yeah, that's something. It doesn't look good at all, but you know. That's not the important part. The important part is that it pretends to fulfill a function that, I don't know. Okay, have you this. Never put on proper materials for these things, but I don't know. Take these guys. I don't know, this one or something. I don't know. Even give you the whatever. Doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, it does not matter that much. Actually, I guess I should go materials. Do a little bit of visual stuff here, just for the sake of doing it. Take any of these. Go here. Base. I don't know, and then like axle. Put you on you, and then I have a reason why I'm doing this other than just the colors. If I do this, then I can mess with my tiling better. I have yet to set up... Okay, that doesn't look super good. I have yet to set up the tiling actually working on different axes, but like allowing it to be different. But oh well, I suppose we're just gonna try this one, maybe with a small amount of tiling. Yeah, okay. Get some being symmetrical. Whatever, it's fine. And this, the color of it, don't want to go to the yellow, sure. This tiling, I don't know, I guess I'm just doing this weird thing where it's just getting some weird, occasional weird lines. Sure. Do I want the actual, this to have a color? Or it should have a color, but, call it arm. Wait, what material are you currently using? You're using the standard gray. Okay. Arm, this. I'll start out with it being some gray. I should be able to get it back to... I don't even remember what it had before, but whatever. Oh, this will go like... Ooh, that does actually look better. Well, the three things don't look visually consistent with each other. Actually, what if I... Yeah, because the way those are scaled, and I'm currently not wanting to... If I cared enough, I could, like, in Blender make these, and then, like, the scales will be fine. But, like, for now, I'm not gonna... Let's try 50-50 again and say, like, yeah, like that, sure, whatever. Give you a little bit of color towards, like, I don't know. I don't know if, like, I should have these be all, like, consistent colors or have them be differing colors. Let's just start though. Let me just try some theming here. Well, it's like close, but then then different shades on purpose or something. I don't know. I'm just making this up as I'm doing it. I have no idea. I'm also just realizing in hindsight this maybe it shouldn't have been like blue on blue, but maybe because like maybe Axel could be gray or something. Whatever, it's fine. I shouldn't be spending that long on that anywho. Why'd that happen? Oh, because... So actually, I have no idea why setting this to static is when I'm going into play mode, it's messing with the thing that I've set up, the like custom shader graph thing, so I guess it'll just not be static for now, it's fine. Okay, okay. Now it technically looks like it's attached to the ground in some way, so I guess that's good. Why does this not match these should technically be identical? What? Because I didn't not mark that as static, I guess. Okay. Sure. We'll just call this base, and... Well, actually, this one... Okay. Now, I could have made this a cylinder as well, if I really wanted to. Does not matter that much. Cool. I might make this even thinner, just because I can, which again, easier to be doing currently in Unity than if I had made it in Blender, than having to go back and forth a bunch. Whatever. It's fine. If I also, more so if I wanted to, I could have had this thing also be spinning, but, like, also whatever. It's fine. Fine enough. I'm looking at this again, though, and just deciding if I want the actual, like, have this same shading thing. Maybe yellow looks not too bad. I don't know. And maybe these I put towards more yellow and again, just to kind of maybe, I mean, if I really cared, I could change the background. You know what, that could be red. I'm slowly just getting towards the same color thing that had over there. I mean, I could also, the background thing, it can be a different color if I wanted it to. I could purposely have a consistent theme with what's going on over there, but nah, for now, it's fine, I don't need to be spending too much time with that anyway. So anyways, though, it is, as we're approaching midnight, I should be getting going and doing these other things. So yeah, okay, this was an experiment. A lot of these last couple streams have just been, I'm busy with the other things that I actually want to be doing with my next content-y stuff that I'm doing, so these are like filler streams in between while I'm working on stuff behind the scenes almost. Well, not really behind, more just like doing stuff with this next video that I'm working on that I don't really think makes for great content. I just have to be doing editing of like my next immediate thing being just like in the middle of trimming the beginning and end off of a couple clips, stuff like that. So yeah, still working on that as I find time to. But I still want to be streaming consistently, regardless. Anywho, so yeah, Catapult, I guess. So like after it went through a lot of not working, and after taking away some of the parts that didn't work, what we're left with works kind of. And I guess I can pretend that I've learned things with physics stuff. More learned, but there's a bunch of stuff that I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah, let me do one last trying to just get the block generator to spawn better. So in theory, it should be able to match with this, and then like if this landed, the other one should be able to. Although this is like, I guess it's flat. It's gonna, yeah, it's pushing it down. No. Well, I mean, technically, if I had this spawn early, then it... Well, nah, whatever, it's fine. Well... Deciding if I just put an extra delay on the... No, it's fine. If I instead just... Yeah, if I just move this down here, I'm sure I can rotate this slightly, and then it might... I forget how I've set up this spawner. If I rotate this slightly, I forget if it inherits the rotation or not. I want to say that it doesn't, but we're gonna find out right here, right now. Will this happen to land perfectly? The fact that it rolls. So if I just move it more over and then down a little bit, maybe that'd be good enough. Don't give it the chance to roll out. There it goes. I suppose if I had the cubes themselves being more like bouncy or whatever, I could even lower the mass even further on the cubes. That's so close to being good. I don't want it to be caught on the lip like that. So I just move it over. I'll copy the X part of it preemptively. Good enough. Away it goes. Okay. Anyways, yes, that's working. I think I'm fine to. I'm going to delete this arm. I won't delete this one just yet, but maybe between the next stream and now I'll do that. I don't know. Whatever. I can do that cleanup. Anyways, yes, that's Catapult. That's a thing that I guess we've now made. Sure. I guess I don't. I guess okay. Technically, well, one last thing I'll do just because we can. I never did test rotating on an angle, and I want to just do that just for the funsies of let's launch something on the 45 and see that it's capable of doing it. Right, this first cube is locked to that axis, so that's the cube's fault that it did that. This next one should be fine. Oh, it actually was facing... Oh, it was facing that way, okay. So cool, yeah, whoa, the thing, it did stuff, cool. Before I forget, I'm just gonna take this and... I was going to turn off you. It'd be really cool if... So right now it's just launching it, like, randomly. It'd be cool if it actually, like... There's no... Like, it would take... Like, the moment I can't even launch this stuff consistently, like, at all. But, like, if I could have be like, here's an X mark on the ground, launch perfectly so that the thing will land there, would be cool. And then if I can have it land on a specific point, go extra far with that and be like, have two things effectively, like playing volleyball with each other, would be cool. But no. I mean, so if I wanted to do, like I have actually done stuff launching in arcs before. The with cannons. The handyman with unicycle, I do have like one obstacle thing. I wouldn't really call it an obstacle, but like a thing where you can get in a cannon and get launched out of it and go on a very particular path. I have set up that kind of thing. That's a bit different though. Like that had less physics going on. Like this, I'm trying to do it purely through physics and like letting the physics handle things. That's different than if I was launching things just through pure setting positions and rotations and all that. Like that's very different, and in some cases easier depending on what I want to do. But in this case, I'm trying to like launch a thing and have it actually, whoa, it rolls through the air and then like bounces and like topples off and stuff, like whatever. If I did want to specifically be like, hey, or have these two things effectively like be juggling a cube back and forth, I could in that case do more with like manually like setting positions and stuff to have it be launching this perfectly arc, like calculate the arc ahead of time and have it fly through the air and like whatever. Like for a cannon, that's easy because you just like immediately go in sort of the arc. With a like a sort of catapult like this, where you still have to deal with like the initial swing, unless you fake it, where it's like you do the hua, and then like at the top here where it's sort of leaving the catapult, then it follows the sort of curve that you want. But like, I don't know how if that would look too funky. Depends on if you're also like looking at something like up close versus like, oh, you're kind of seeing it happen in the distance, then you can get away with more. That's like a whole other thing. Because I'm just making this as a generic like, oh, just making a thing trying to do this. I'm less considering how I might want to like if I was making a catapult thing in an actual game, depending on how it's going to be used, like if it's being used as more in the distance thing, then I would be caring more at like the different ways I could implement it and like pros and cons of that, and like if there's a better way I could do it that like that I can cheat it, like hide it more in the background, blah blah blah. But in this case, I'm trying to just be like, let's just make a thing and make it pure physics and blah blah blah. Anyway, so I guess yeah, we'll kind of wrap things up for now with this stream. What will the next stream be? I don't know. Well, okay, so if I'm going to continue just doing, for now, just some of these streams of just, hey, let's make a random thing that I haven't done before and kind of add it to the pile. I wanted to return to this thing at some point, but the next thing I was initially going to do was having, like, an pickaxe or something that can, if I have it be flying through the air, if it hits a wall, it actually embedding in the wall, which in theory, I have an idea of that wall embedding, how I would do that. But now that even this, I thought it would be easy and then had a bunch of problems. I am no longer so sure. So maybe, so either I'll do that if I can't think of anything else, or I might try to think of something that's specifically less physics-based, maybe a little bit of physics, but less of a pure physics thing. But like physics stuff is cool. Physics stuff is cool when it actually works, I guess. But there's cool things that aren't, like these lasers, they work awesomely, and that's not physics going on. Raycasting, but not physics. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try to come up with some things that aren't so physics based, but can still have cool applications and like whatever. And I don't know. Yeah, continue to make random cool things. There's some degree where I'm thinking of like, oh, if this worked, this could maybe be something in Ultra Tag or the Hangman with Unicycle or whatever. So maybe I'll do some more brainstorming on specifically things I know I want in those games specifically, and then make those. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'll figure that out. So anyways, I think that'll do it for this live stream. If you liked it, look forward to more. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you around. All right, mouse, hold on, going to stop stream button. All right, bye.